Hello everyone, this video is not sponsored. This is the Lumibricks Sylvan Inn, also known as the Mystic Forest Inn. This has over 3,100 pieces. The retail price is $170 US. I got mine for a little bit under $150 US with regular discounts at Lumibricks.com. This has 40 prints in it, no stickers, and 22 LED lights, most of them just individual LEDs that are static, but they do have some different colors, as well as a few that have some different effects. And they did actually a good job with the effects this time. The build for this thing is, well, obviously quite significant. There's a lot to it. There are a lot of colors, including some colors that, or at least one color, that I personally have not seen before from any brick manufacturer. And Lumibricks has once again experimented with different ways to open up their sets. This is a way that they've never done it to date, so this is able to do that thing, which is interesting. But then also these here are able to rotate around. And not only does that give you access to some parts of it, you can also open this up here. You can also take the roof off. I'll show you that in a minute. But there are also these pathways that form. They actually fold out. So this one even has a little print right there that shows some little paw prints on it. Pathways between the different sections. So it's not completely disconnected now, at least at the ground floor. It's not completely disconnected. And you just imagine somebody going out that door and then walking across here and then going over to there. Also, these little sections off to the side, when they swing out, reveal their own pathways that go from them to the door there. Of course, a figure could just walk this way as well, but it's just kind of interesting that that was a little extra thing that was done there that really did not need to be done. You also have this section over here, which is kind of a hidden away area where you can look underground and find some additional ingredients, perhaps for doing some alchemy, or doing some putting together some potions or something. This is kind of set in a semi-modern setting, but it is fantasy. It's not what a lot of people in the West think of when it comes to like high fantasy, medieval fantasy, or anything like that, which you might be used to from a lot of video games. I'll go ahead and take this off now as well. It's their own thing. They wanted to give the suggestion, and they talk about this in their instructions and on their website. They wanted to give the suggestion to just regular folks that there's a place where you can go and just kind of escape from normalcy and just relax and just have peaceful times. And that's what this here represents. It's metaphorical and really challenges you to use your imagination for good, for yourself, for your own benefit. I like what they're doing here. This book has a print on the top and a print on the inside. Same thing over here. Print for the cover here as well, and then print inside. I'm just kind of showing you the set in general. There are a lot of things that were done really, really well with this, in my personal opinion, unexpectedly so. The most difficult thing about it is the fact that, like I said, this does have quite a few colors in it, including some colors that are close to one another. So this is a very, very light lavender. If you don't look carefully, you might think that it looks gray, but this over here, right there, that 1x2 with a little bit of texture on the side of it, that is the light gray color. So not a regular light gray color, like this over here is a regular light gray color, but a light gray. There's another one right there, which is very close in value, but different in hue compared to this lighter color of lavender. And then if you look around the side over here, you can see just a couple of spots where there are these one stud wide bricks that have even a different color. It's a very, very pale blue. Now, I'm proud of Lumibricks here and the way that they did their printing for their instructions. I was able to tell the difference between those very close colors. There's also this cream color or ivory color that's used in several places, which is kind of close to white. It's like an off-white. I was able to distinguish between those without much difficulty at all in the instructions. You also got the little blue candle over there. Distinguishing them in real life was actually harder than in the instructions. I used digital instructions for this one. I also checked the printed instructions as well, and they're pretty close. They're actually done pretty well. You can still take various levels of this off. You don't have to just look at it through the side, but this is by far the most convenient way. The least convenient place to look in here, and you just look at all these little details. It's dense with details, but they do actually have studs. So they're actually starting to listen. They're putting studs in a fair number of places all around, even on the outside, to be able to pose figures. This is the area that is most difficult to get to. It's just kind of the main little lounge area. If you don't take off any of the floors, so just without any disassembly whatsoever, that's the most difficult area to get to appreciate, because this next level up, as you see, opens up from the side. So you have much easier access there. And again, look at all those studs. It's not too many. They're not distracting, but they're super, super convenient. I already, posed these figures out here, and it's just that easy to pose them anywhere. I appreciate that so much that they are listening to our feedback, and they're taking that to heart, and they're doing just small adjustments to make their products better still as they've continued to do. This almost looks like a Himalayan salt lamp, just with the amount of glow that it has on it. It's looking a little bit bright on camera here, unfortunately. This is the one area where you have the special effects, and I'm glad that it doesn't blink, so it's got just a nice soft move. And this one are out of sync. They start off in sync when you first turn them on, but then they eventually fall out of sync because the circuitry and the timing is on the circuit board itself that has the LED. There's also a bad thing about these lanterns. This is the one place that you can find regular pinched wires with Lumibricks. For the most part, they have moved past pinching wires at all. For the most part, they are being really good. There's just so many little pathways and doors and things about ensuring that wires are carefully managed and nothing kind of gets in its own way, nothing gets in anything else's way, and nothing is in danger of being damaged from putting it together and taking it back apart. And that includes with these contact pieces, which are working well now. They fixed the clutch issue with those. They used to stick. They don't stick anymore. I can confidently take this off at any time, and you see that the lights simply turn off. As soon as I put it back on, those lights will turn back on. Very good work in general, except with these lamps. They still do have a very, very tight tolerance. You kind of have to squeeze the LED piece in, which is just a cylinder piece, in order to get it to fit. And it does have a little bit of chafing that occurs. I actually accidentally pulled back the insulation on one of the wires while I was doing that. So I do hope that they will fix that as well. There was one set that they did at one point that did that in a better way, where they actually inverted the piece upside down and they just attached a single stud lamp to the bottom of it. So I hope that they'll go back to doing that again. These doors right here have prints on them, and I just wanted to show you what this looks like from the top a little bit. Some of the patterns that are on the floor there, just being a little bit more organic this time around, because I just wanted to give you a more organic kind of tour of the place in general, rather than being quite so regimented as I usually am, which ends up taking quite a long time, by the way. This over here is just an alphabet that they made up for this land. So it's very similar to something you've already seen. A lot of derivative characters, but then some get just a little bit farther away. And you can use those to make some small translations around this space. And hopefully there will be more sets in this kind of sub-theme. And with that final floor removed, now you can just see the lobby area, the lounge area, just a little bit more easily. Another print out over here, and also notice there is a light inside. So that has a little bit of glow to it, which is from a single light that's way deep inside that you place very, very early on. I like how, look over here. I don't know if these are supposed to be like just stirring sticks or if they're supposed to represent diffusion rods, diffuser rods for oil, essential oils or something like that, but they're different colors. So it's 3 different Technic axles in the same length in 3 different colors. They got it black, blue, and then dark blue. I just love how this company and many others just has no fear about doing things in different colors. You know, it's like they don't really have rules about colors. The biggest brand, most expensive brand out there has really, really rigid rules. And it's just nice to be able to break free from stuff like that and to just see interesting stuff just done however. If anything disappointed me about this set, it's the lack of animals, a surprising lack of animals. There are no butterflies. I mean, look at all the beautiful foliage and all the color and everything. No butterflies, no birds. There's actually I think that's supposed to be a bird house right there, unless it's just supposed to be some crafter's kind of model that they just put there just for their own fun as a human being. But I think that's supposed to be like a bird house or something like that. No birds, no insects, nothing like that. We do have whatever these are, so those could be alive. But yeah, we saw the paw prints in one of the hidden pathways, and there are no suggestions for who made those paw prints. So you do have to use your imagination there. You do have access around the back here as well. This is the battery box that uses 3 AA batteries, but as usual, just for the sake of convenience, I'm just using a USB battery, but you can also connect that up to continuous USB power. They've got a USB-C connector back here, which makes it really convenient. And they come with just a small cable for that, but you can also do it in different ways. You can also connect to USB-A. Instead, they've got an adapter for that. So this is the backdoor access here. Again, access for figures has really been thought about, including, the stairs having studs on them so your figures can be posed up there. And this looks pretty decent around the back too. If you're not using the battery box, you could just pull that off, leave it off entirely. But, even with some wiring back here, it doesn't look all that bad. There's texture. There are different colors. I appreciate the use of the kind of masonry bricks here and different colors, even around the back. So this kind of displays well 360 degrees, which is definitely preferable. Some of the lights are also visible from around the back, not just from the front. I appreciate that. And speaking of lights, I need to show you what this looks like with the lights turned down in the studio, if not off. All right, I went for off because it has enough light. And it's not too bright overall. I guess some of the interior scenes are very, very well lit, very thoroughly lit. But from the outside, just on display normally, this has a certain sparkle to it because of the use of very small LEDs in several different colors. It has just a little bit of warm glow as you get in closer to the structure and where the humans actually are. I appreciate the use of the more greenish cyan LEDs to provide just something a little bit different from the blue as well. And the blue obviously works well with the blue color of the foliage out here, the leaves and everything, even when you're looking at it when it's in a fully lit room, just gives you that little bit of extra sparkle. But all of this kind of works together nicely. And the more you open it up, the more you're able to see interior details easily. And I want to make a special point about this side of the roof over here. See, there's just a little bit of glow coming through. A little bit of the light from inside this room is illuminating this to almost make it have a glow-in-the-dark kind of effect. Now, you might see a little bit of greenishness there. That's actually from the LED over here on the tree. So if I block that off, you see there, that's just the pure glow. I have no other lights on in the room whatsoever. The way they accomplished that was by building the entire roof, all of its major surfaces, on transparent light blue plates. The whole thing. And then they just cover most of it. It was so weird for me. It was so awkward to have these beautiful and, to me, very special and very rare pieces, because I'm not used to the luxury of really special colors for mundane pieces. Not that much, especially not big ones. One of these is huge, transparent, crystal clear, tinted with light blue. But then they cover up most of it. Except right here, they only cover it with these ivory pieces, which do have a little bit more translucency to them. They let just a little bit of light through, and as a result, you get that glow. Now, unfortunately, that glow only comes from the light in this attic room, which is only one single light in the little kind of crystal ball towards the front of it. I really wish they'd put one more LED in this space specifically to illuminate this. because I feel like they're cutting the power of this effect here short by just relying upon the little bit of glow that is kind of incidental from that light right there. And just right here, you can see the two little strips that show the inner layer of each section of roof and how those are transparent. So those actually do let a little bit of light come through right there. Kind of a nice effect, but again, one more light in this attic, I think, would have helped a lot, would have made this shine more, and most importantly, would have made that shine there. But really cool pieces and nice experimentation once again by Lumibricks. This mystical horse is both fancier and far more creepy than I expected because, first of all, it's iridescent. So all of the plastic has that iridescent sheen to it, which has a little bit of color shift. It goes a little bit between a magenta and a cyan and kind of gets caught in between depending upon how the light reflects and refracts. But it also has very, very bright printing in silver, which I wasn't expecting, but it also kind of shows skeletal designs, like you're seeing its bones inside. The whole thing is supposed to be like a ghost, right? It's a partially corporeal, ghostly, magical thing that can actually be ridden upon, but you see the bones, and that just makes it feel a little bit more horror-like, which is odd to me. It's a choice. Some people will really, really like that. I just wish that the whole thing would kind of pick a lane. You know, I'm worried that it's supposed to be a little bit evil or possibly even sad here, and I don't want that. I just want happiness from it. So I'm a little bit torn on that one. When it comes to minifigures from this company, I am long since over the debate about them. I know some people dislike them strongly. Some people like them strongly. Some people think that their inclusion ruins the entire set, which I think is the most ridiculous thing. If you like the entire set, except for the figures, just don't use the figures. Just forget about the figures. Bring your own figures into the scene. Lumibricks obviously cannot make figures that are just like this because that would be a trademark violation. It'd be sued, and you can't do that. They're trying to be legitimate as possible. They had to come up with a new design. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people have gotten used to it and do like it now, but enough people don't like it that they are going to change them. We don't know how they're going to change them, but they have confirmed officially that they are going to change the design somewhat. So we'll just have to see how that turns out whenever it happens. They do put a fair bit of effort into backstories. They even have names for characters, usually not necessarily all of them, but a fair number of them per set. They will give you full details to kind of help start the story, and then they let you take it from there. So they give you a bit of setting, but they don't give you the entire story. You know, it doesn't have there isn't a canon. You know, there isn't a specific book to indicate everything that has happened in the past and that is happening right now with any of their sets. It's just like, hey, here's some general backstory, and now go use your own imagination. So obviously this guy right here is just a normal, regular human and probably a person who's visiting this space, and they're super, super happy. He's able to, loosen up his tie immediately and just enjoy the beauty of the space. This is a more mystical man made of stone who is relatively rarely seen and probably has some special wisdom and has been around for longer than any of the trees and the houses and things. Like it's foundations for more storytelling. Again, though, I paid a little under $150 US for this as just a regular consumer, just using regular discounts at Lumibricks.com. But the regular retail price is $170, and that's for 3,120 pieces with, again, 40 prints and 22 LEDs. This is very well done. I'm happy with the vast majority of it. Like I said, they've got still wire pinching in here. I'm really having to be very specific with my notes now. To track as I build these sets, to track anything that's wrong, because they're doing so many things right. And most of the things that they've done wrong in the past, they've corrected, or they're in the process of correcting. Really fantastic, amazing, incredible forward progress by the people who work on the ground at this company. It's very delightful to see. The sets themselves are very delightful. The worst thing about this, on the whole, at the end of the day, for me, is that the base doesn't match any of the other sets that they've done because it has one extra plate. Didn't tell you about that until now. It has one extra plate, which was required in order to pull off the separation style that they have, the opening style, in order to give enough room for this to happen and that right there to happen. They had to add one more plate of height. So it's one plate taller than their normal thick plates that have like the horizontal connectors on the sides. This one does not have any horizontal electrical connectors. I'm fine with that. But just the fact that the ground here is one plate taller than anything else is a little bit odd, a little bit unfortunate. Probably worth it in this case. And I don't think that this would connect well if it did have the exact same height. Even I don't think it would connect particularly well to any of their other sets they have right now. Probably more people than any would want to put this into a medieval setting. The castle stuff that they're doing, well, medieval stuff they did originally was just plate and then a stack of just two. So plate and then either more plates or tiles. And then the most recent stuff, the thicker stuff, has the plate, brick, plate, as opposed to here we've got plate, brick, plate, plate, and then tiles and things on top of it. You can adapt that, obviously, but the end result is you just have that little bit of inconsistency, and you do have a lot of technical holes that are visible from the outside. You can use those to connect things, but also if you don't want to see them, well, they're there anyway. And then the nameplate on the fronts kind of turns this into a display item a little bit more than a destination that would be integrated in with other things. And it's also the first and only thing that they've done in this World's Edge sub-theme, unofficial sub-theme. Officially, it's in the X theme. So it doesn't have a theme. It's just a thing. But unofficially, it's World's End. And I do hope that they will do more in this unofficial sub-theme in the future, because I personally love this style. I love all this. It took a long time to put these leaves together, but you know what? It was just a matter of time. It was not annoying. These leaves are not too finicky. The instructions are very good. They show you exactly how to angle each and every one to get a nice arrangement of them spread out and everything. Again, all the different colors, and yet it wasn't confusing. It wasn't frustrating. They are, yeah. I don't want to sound too biased in favor. I am very critical. I am looking for things wrong, and I'm calling things out wrong when I see them. But there are just so many things right here. And every single season, it seems like they're doing fewer things wrong, more things right, and continuing to experiment. Also, they're not resting on their laurels at all. Like this opening system, like that's cool. It's cool. And I appreciate especially that it's different. We need that, right? We need that in life and in hobbies. We need variation. We need people and companies trying different stuff to keep us from getting bored, keep the creativity flowing. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your support, especially the channel members. Hope that folks have enjoyed watching the live builds of these. Recently, I do live builds here now as well as on Twitch. I've always been doing live builds on Twitch for over 4.5 years now, and everything's completely free there. And a lot of people are worried about Twitch. And it's just a website. You just go there and you just watch, and it's all chill and everything if you want to. But thank you for the support. Thank you to my Patreon members and all the folks who use affiliate links in the video description, which can give me just a small little commission if you decide to purchase something. But don't purchase anything because I said so. Only purchase things that you want. But if you do decide to pick something up, if you use one of my affiliate links, that just helps me to be able to buy more of these sets to review for you. It also helps to keep the lights on. So thanks, and I'll talk to you again soon.